Greetings, distinguished persons of the United Nations Committee.
The issue at hand today is the preservation of important species, the Atlantic bluefin tuna.
Currently critically endangered, we must take drastic actions in order to ensure that this keystone species lives on.
The tuna live in the crystal clear waters of the Atlantic Ocean, swimming above the sandy seafloor. The waters are swarming with diverse life, just as the seafloor is filled with coral, fish, and crustaceans. The climate varies, with regions near the poles colder and regions near the equator warmer, resulting in a regular migration, with the tuna returning to past breeding grounds every year. Their metallic blue top and shimmering silver-white bottom helps them remain well camouflaged with their surroundings. Areas that aren't barren are filled with lush green forests of kelp and seaweed, their bodies waving in the current. The environment the tuna live in is diverse, consisting of biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic factors include marine animals, phytoplankton, zooplankton, coral, seaweed, kelp, sharks, small fish, and excrements.
Abiotic factors include water, the compounds in the water, hydrothermal beds, sand, rocks, and pollution. Here are a few of the relationships between the abiotic and biotic factors in this environment. All the organisms relate to the abiotic factors, drinking the water, breathing the compounds in the water, and being affected by objects such as pollution. Between themselves, the biotic factors also consume each other for energy.
The organism absorbs carbon necessary to sustain itself by consuming its prey. The original carbon was obtained from the air as carbon dioxide by phytoplankton. Eventually, the carbon made its way as macromolecules to the tuna. The tuna can then be eaten by a predator and the carbon will be absorbed by that predator. When the predator dies, the carbon is reabsorbed by bacteria and scavengers, where the carbon can begin the cycle once more.
A few of the responses to external factors that the Atlantic bluefin tuna has is to climate change, resource extraction by humans, and natural disasters. Climate change is caused by combustion of fossil fuels by humans, increasing the temperature of the water. The hotter water requires the fish to expend more energy to maintain homeostasis, reducing the possible population of the species. This climate change is caused by the extraction of resources like fossil fuels. Additionally, after global warming occurs, more natural disasters like hurricanes will occur, affecting the tuna population even more.
There are three main ways microorganisms influence the Atlantic bluefin tuna. First, microorganisms such as phytoplankton play a key role as producers. These serve as the base of the food web. Second is through biomagnification. Volcanoes, gold mining, and coal combustion release mercury into the air, which is then absorbed by the ocean. Microorganisms in the ocean convert mercury into methylmercury. This toxic metal passes through food chains, poisoning many organisms. Third, microorganisms cover the surface of the water, depleting the oxygen in the water. As a result, organisms are left with little to no air, and many end up dying from this.
As for the tuna itself, they are about 7.4 feet long and weigh about 520 pounds when mature. Record weights have reached 1,500 pounds. The fish are notable for their speed, strength, and size. They can swim at 40 miles an hour and can withstand temperatures from 3 to 30 degrees Celsius. The Atlantic bluefin tuna is in the domain Eukarya, the kingdom Animalia, the phylum Chordata, the class Actinopterygii, the order Perciformis, the family Scombridae, the genus Thunus, and the species Sthinus. The scientific name is Thunus sthinus.
The tuna are highly prized as food, used in Japanese foods such as sushi and sashimi. As a result, the tuna have been overfished and are now endangered. Some carrying capacities that affect the population of the tuna are those of the humans and the herring. Since humans eat tuna, the overpopulation of humans would result in a decrease in the Atlantic bluefin tuna population, which is what is currently taking place. Since tuna eat the herring, the underpopulation of herring would also result in a significant decrease in the tuna population. To ensure the preservation of the tuna population, we should lessen our consumption of these delicate creatures. We must also reduce the pollution entering our precious waters. Through these methods, we will be able to return the Atlantic bluefin tuna population to its prime. The producers in this food web are algae, kelp, and phytoplankton. The primary consumers are shrimp, krill, zooplankton, herring, anchovies, and the Atlantic bluefin tuna. The secondary consumers are mackerel, anchovies, herring, sharks, and the Atlantic bluefin tuna. The tertiary consumers are the Atlantic bluefin tuna, killer whales, billfish, and sharks. The quaternary consumers are killer whales, billfish, and sharks, and the top predators are killer whales. Finally, the decomposers are bacteria.
The Atlantic bluefin tuna consumes kelp, krill, anchovies, herring, and mackerel. The Atlantic bluefin tuna is consumed by killer whales and sharks.
The sun provides energy to the first trophic level, which are the producers, and these include kelp, phytoplankton, and algae. The second trophic level are the primary consumers, and they are shrimp, krill, and zooplankton. The third trophic level, or the secondary consumers, are anchovies, mackerel, and herring. The fourth trophic level, or the tertiary consumers, are Atlantic bluefin tuna. The fifth trophic level, or quaternary consumers, are billfish and sharks. The sixth trophic level, or the top level, or quinary consumers, is the killer whales. Energy is lost as heat going up the energy pyramid. Each level has 10% of the energy from the previous one.
This graph is a graph between the number of individuals and time. As you can see, the number of tuna goes down over time. With conservation efforts, the population is expected to rise again. Seen in this other graph, the fishing rates of the Atlantic bluefin tuna have been increasing steadily over the years. With such high catch rates, the population of the Atlantic bluefin tuna is bound to go down. That declining population is shown in this graph. Clearly, the biomass of the tuna has been going down.
Now that you know about the Atlantic bluefin tuna and why they are worth preserving, we urge you to make substantial efforts to their conservation. Remember, these precious animals are crucial in ensuring the diversity of the Earth. Only with your support we can restore the biosphere to its original pristine condition.
The Atlantic bluefin tuna is a fish with superb taste. Commonly seen in many exquisite foods such as sushi or sashimi, it is a delicacy loved by many. As a result, by ensuring the preservation of these tuna, we will ensure that people will still be able to enjoy its taste. Though hunting of it will still continue as is necessary for it to be eaten, it should be done on a lesser scale in order to save these tuna from extinction.
That's all, folks.